Alright, today's July 4th, and I'm going to explain some of what I said before about what is going on here in Hatteras, North Carolina. This is, I guess this will be volume 8 of No Such Thing as a Feral Cat. You'll find it on YouTube as Feral Cats-No Such Thing, volumes 1 through 8, because I can't figure out how to combine all the videos. There's Lost up close. You can see Lucky, Doodad, Snow White, Oksana, Big Orange Kitty, Kiki's down there, and you can see Clue up in the tree, and you can see they're all happy. There's Cookie, the only one to survive out of her group. But I'm gonna explain that, you know, when I came here, I had no intention. We were just like everyone else. We just gave money to the animal advocate groups because we actually believed they were out there using the money to save animals. And when we came across this situation here, they were starving, so we went out and we fed the cats because somebody had to do it. They were suffering from tea and starve, and I'll explain that later. But so we gave them food, and then I took pictures of them because I didn't want them hauled off to the SPCA, and so I could email the SPCA pictures and say, okay, well, these they belong down here, and they've got somebody taking care of them. So when I found out they were being drowned and poisoned, the first cat was Sissy. They hit her so hard they cleaved her skull in two, and then they tried to explain how she could still run with her skull cleaved in two, 300 yards from the highway. And I said, no, that doesn't happen. That's not medically possible. So we started getting, refused by the sheriff's department from the start. They didn't want to admit this was going on down here, and they didn't want anybody proving it. So, but in the course of the 10 years of me being with people and showing this online, you've seen 60 cats kill or disappeared. 17 cats don't disappear in 2 weeks, and then I've been looking for them for 3 years after accounting for them every night for 6 years. They don't just disappear. Somebody killed those cats, and I checked with the Dare County SPCA, and none of them went there. In 10 years, no cat that's disappeared has ever showed up at the Dare County SPCA. Not one. Don't you think that's strange? And they get $500,000 a year from Dare County, and they're all animal control officers, ex-animal control officers, including, the board, which they don't really care about cats, and they don't do anything down here to help the cats. There's a TNR group called Friends of Felines, Hatteras Island, and none of this is her fault because she gets a measly $12,000 a year to fix all these cats. There were thousands of them on the island. Nobody was fixing them, and that was her budget and per year, and that doesn't go very far. While the Dare County SPCA gets $500,000 a year, and they burn it all up on their salaries and then don't do anything to help the cats. Now, when I found out that these cats were being killed, and I started documenting it, I went out and found bodies. The Dare County Sheriff's Department refused to do autopsies at first, and so I went to Alley Cat Allies, who's 5 hours away in Maryland. I went to PETA, who's 3 hours away in Norfolk, and they wouldn't come down, and they did absolutely nothing to try to stop these cats from being brutally killed. So, that's when I went online. I didn't even know how to use a computer at the time, and I had to learn everything, including how to email people because of this situation. Something I don't want to do. I hate computers. I don't like being at a desk. I would rather be out here helping them or doing something, building something, than doing this. And so I was forced to do this, and we were forced to bring these cats to our house. The people at the restaurant down there called us in February of 2015 and decided that You know, he didn't put the cats there. It was them throwing scraps to him. The old man who used to own the place, the uncle, and they were starving. 6 months a year, they just close up and leave the cats in the parking lot to starve. So that's how we ended up finding them starving in the parking lot. Not fixed. They never, none of the cats had been fixed. So we got them in touch with Friends of Felines. They spent thousands of dollars fixing their cats for them. And then when the niece and nephew took over, they hate cats, so they called me up and said, come get the cats or we're going to kill them. And they literally gave me no time. So I've been for 3 years trying to get Alley Cat Allies and all these huge animal groups that, you know, get millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars to help animals, and none of them have yet to show. In 10 years, none of them have come down here. And I'll tell you some of them who I've contacted. Alley Cat Allies, I have contacted them over and over again. I have the U.S. Humane Society, Wayne Pacelli, when they kept refusing to come down here, I started posting the pictures of the dead cats on the U.S. Humane Society's Facebook page and Wayne Pacelli's Facebook page. And I posted a bunch of them on Oprah Winfrey's site when he was selling his book, and he blocked me from being able to post the pictures of the dead animals, the dead cats that he didn't come help. And like I said before, we have animals run over in front of our house every single day here for 10 years. Now all of a sudden they've stopped now that they have, the gossip has gotten around that this governor has been contacted. And we contacted the governor, the U.S. Department of Justice. We've contacted Senator Thom Tillis. You know, we've contacted over the years the director of the National Park Service. We've contacted everybody that needed to be contacted, and they just sit at their desks and soak up tax money, and nobody came here to help. And the ASPCA didn't come down here to help. Those letters must mean nothing anymore. They're just letters and a name. We had In Defense of Animals trying to help us out of California, and the second that the Dare County threatened to sue them, they pulled the article. And they could have at least just said, you know, there's a severe amount of animals being subjected to animal cruelty on Hatteras Island, and somebody needs to help, you know, so that at least the public would know when they came down here and spent money, you know, what was really happening down here. And what was really happening with the cats are these rental cottage owners are coming down here. There's no law enforcement, so they poison them, they drown them, they beat them to death, they shoot them, and nobody does anything about it. I mean, we're still sitting here. The only thing that they've done about it is they've tried to eliminate me as a witness by giving me, you know, no trespass charges for places I don't even go, you know, to try to stop me from feeding the cats so they could kill the cats whenever they wanted to, and there'd be no witnesses. I mean, that's obstruction of justice, and people should be going to, law enforcement people should be going to jail. But, you know, in this country where I'm beginning to believe that everything is corrupt, none of that has happened. And, you know, this is in light of recently that giraffe that got killed by that girl, and that's been all over Fox News. And you notice that, you know, none of these cats here, these cats were going to be killed. And, you know, the purpose of No Such Thing as a Feral Cat, to show you if you just sit out here with him. Look at Lost, he wants to be on TV now. And they're not, all you have to do is sit with them, and they could be homed, but, you know, obviously, you know, there's not going to be enough people to adopt these cats anymore. And this, what I'm trying to say is that sanctuaries was the answer to all of this, where one person can take care of, you know, in a sanctuary, a funded sanctuary, 100 cats or more. There's one in California, Cat House on the Kings, and she's got 500 to 700 cats there, and they get better care than any no-kill shelter on the planet. And she's funded over the internet, and, you know, and that's what we're actually promoting. That's the answer. Now, what the problem is that there are people that believe there's tea and starve. And that's where they take the cats out and they fix them and they dump them back out there to be brutalized and starve, and then say, oh, what a good person I am. You know, TNR doesn't function unless you keep your promises to these cats. And these cats are promised, and the donors who donate the money to the cats are promised that cat not only will be fixed, but he will get food and water every day. He'll be safe where he's being released. He'll be safe where he's being released, and he will have the ability to stay there for his lifetime. You know, if they're not going to be safe and they're not going to get food and water every day, and or medical attention when they get sick. I mean, these cats get tapeworms. What do? You just leave a cat that doesn't have any food or water and then let him have tapeworms and then die of tapeworms? You know, that's not humane. That's not what TNR is supposed to be doing. So what we did here was we gave the cats what they were entitled to with our own money. You know, we've spent well over $100,000 now, and $20,000 is just in the injuries, where these people get to injure them anytime that they want, and nobody does anything about it. You know, we pay for the medical bills. Maybe we can find Gold Tide, and you can see his broken leg, where I never got him to. It healed on its own after 6 months, but I chased him around in the neighborhood trying to give him medicine every night until his compound fracture healed. And that was from them down there using clamp traps to kill the cats after exactly what they told us they were going to do. They were going to kill the cats, and I didn't get them fast enough. And then, you know, I lured them to the CenturyLink property next door, and, you know, look how happy they are. And I fed them soft food every night for 3 months. That was a can every night for each cat. That was like $1,200 we spent, but we had permission to get them there because after they demanded the cats be taken from their property, they wouldn't let us get them. They blocked us with a trespass order saying, nope, you can't get them now, because they wanted us, they believed what we would do was just give up and let them kill the cats. And you know, I guess that's what people do, but that's not what I do. And here they are. It's the purpose of all this is to show you how happy they are. You know, in the event that these people continue to attack us, there's going to be a YouTube record of how happy they are, how tame they are. You saw how tame they are in the other videos. And now you have a little bit of history of, oh look, he's going to play with a stick. You have a little bit of history about what's going on here, and you can see that, you know, this is July 4th, it's smoking hot, but we have a little bit of breeze over here, and that they live in this compound now that we get no help from any of the animals from groups, the billions of dollars. I mean, U.S. Humane Society alone gets $200 million a year, and they've yet in 10 years to come and help us at all with any of the costs of any of this. So what's happening is these people chase, all of these big animal advocates groups chase the publicity that they get. If you get the cats in the news, if you do everything, then they'll swoop in and take all the credit, and they'll get millions of dollars in donations from being on the news. But unless you do that, you know, the animal advocates that are out there just doing this stuff on their own, those are the only people that are saving animals. They're not saving any animals at any of these big animal advocate groups, and you're throwing your money away. They play politics with the money. They use most of it for their salaries, their huge salaries they get, sitting at their desks. You know, when I asked for help, they offered all of this advice, and I said, I'm not asking you for advice. I don't need your advice. I know how to do this. I know what they need to do. I know I need a fence. I know I need habitats built. I know I need to get this concrete poured. I know I need things. I need physical help to get these cats the hour and a half up to the vet. It's an hour and a half from here just to take them to the vet. And they expected me to trap the cats, stay out all night and trap the cats, get them fixed, drive them up, put the fence up, pour the concrete, do everything that had to be done. And they offered absolutely no physical help, and absolutely no money. So I had to do all this on my own to get the cats out of where they were, to keep them from being killed. Hi, big orange kitty. Yes, we love you. And here we are doing no such thing as a feral cat, because they were never feral in the first place. I mean, they were what you call feral, but there's no such thing. If you just spend time with these animals, you'll see that, whoop, the strap hit you. Come here, come back. Psst, 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 psst. If you just spend time with these cats, and you see that Black Kitty gets closer and closer every day, wants to know what's going on. If it wasn't for the camera, it would be over here. And they're different. Every one of them come. So we're making a video record to protect ourselves and the cats from these horrible people who are authorities here in Dare County, the Dare County Board, the Dare County Sheriff's Department, who only want to hurt these cats. I mean, they didn't offer any kind of help in all this time whatsoever, and immediately tried to say that the cats weren't being hurt at all. You know, when I put that petition online that the live kittens were thrown in the air and shot, that was based on the guy who did it going around town bragging about it, and all the cats. I knew that they were there. I had Feral Cat Rescue from Buxton who told me that they had tried to go in, were called to go in and help the cats, but then the people wanted the cats removed, and they said, well, we just fixed the cats and you still have to take care of them. And they said, no, we want them gone. And this is the guy who was running up and down the street, running over the animals, him and his friends in his pickup truck. He was the one who was running the turtle nest over on the national park, killing the turtles out there, caused the whole beach closure lawsuit with the Autobahn, and they didn't do anything to him. They went to him and asked him, did you do it? That was an investigation. You know, they didn't ask any of his friends. His friends told me, yeah, he's done a lot worse, that he did this and he's done a lot worse. You know, what's worse than throwing a live kitten in the air and shooting it with a shotgun? You know, lighting them on fire? What could he have done to these other poor cats that was worse than that? So there was plenty of evidence, but the sheriff chose to go on TV and say he didn't have any evidence. He had plenty of evidence, he just doesn't look for it. And this other deputy that he's got that's supposed to have been investigating the cat killings, this guy was doing nothing but trying to cover up everything that was going on here. He was never trying to catch the cat killers. Now he's friends with all the cat killers. He's friends with the drug dealers here, and he's trying to say that I'm the one. He's trying to prosecute me and saying that by me putting the truth online about what's happening to these cats is cyber stalking. But once we get through that, we're gonna really tell the story on YouTube and let people see. This is live. This is happening right now in Hatteras, North Carolina. These poor cats are out there starving. There's no water in the 100-degree heat. Because of this, they let this deputy write the ordinance with the help of the cat killers. The cat killers from over on Ships Timbers Road. He wrote the ordinance with the help. He has absolutely no experience in writing law, but he wrote it so that the cats couldn't possibly be taken care of. You know, no person could possibly do all the things that you can do, and then he can arrest you. If you dare to put a handful of food, he can arrest you for any little thing that you don't do that he feels that should be done. And then here we have the Dare County SPCA, and they are the ones that enforce these rules, this law, this cat hater feeding ordinance, and they don't do anything at all. They just let the cats starve. They don't fix any cats. They don't come down here and help when this poor cat's had the broken leg. They didn't come down here and help. You know, I had the Roanoke Island Animal Clinic notified them that I had fixed a cat mother that was lactating, and she had kittens out there. I told them exactly where the kittens were, and they drove all the way down here from Manio, an hour-and-a-half drive. I sat right out front. I watched her drive by because I knew that if I reported it, they would just ignore it. But they drove all the way down here, and in 10 minutes she drove back. I don't even think she got out of the truck to look for the kittens. And those kittens died on these people's property, the same people that own the restaurant. They died because, and I could have gone over there and sat in the woods for a few minutes, listened for their voices, taken the mother over there and found those poor kittens and got them to safety. I could have done that you know, in 2 hours, and they wouldn't let me do it because what they want to do is kill these cats. They didn't want them to survive, but she drove all the way down here and then turned around. She gets a salary to do this. And when you call, I called 100 times about the cats with the broken leg. 4 cats had broken legs. Belle had her shoulder pulled out of the socket. I knew they were using illegal clamp traps, and I knew where they were using it, and they wouldn't even try to come down here and do anything about it. So I'm protecting myself with this episode of No Such Thing as a Feral Cat, by giving you some more information about what's actually happening. And I think we'll turn around here and let you see Tommy. He's living in there in the air conditioning, and he is waiting for some attention. He lives inside, and I think I'll take you down here and let's see if we can see anybody else enjoying their life in the inside. These are the kittens that over on Ship's Timbers, the people came down and were with their boats, and we're going to use them as live shark bait. I caught them out there, and I called the police, and they were going to use them as live. She was over there, and they were going to use her for live shark bait, take her out 20 miles offshore, and throw her overboard to flail around to attract sharks. And here they are, living inside in the air conditioner. I know you can't see through the glass there because that glass is bad, but you know, you can see it's smoking hot and it's miserable out here, but we've got a lot of nice places for them. There you go. You can see a little bit in there. I think you can see them laying in the air conditioning. Those are both 2 of the kittens that were going to be used as live shark bait by the people who they wrote the ordinance for. Then these people showed up in front of the Board of Commissioners, and they wrote the ordinance for these people, and they thanked the sheriff for helping them get me out of there so I couldn't report the crimes they were committing against the cats anymore. And I told you that almost all of the cats from the Virginian Pilot article, a lot of them you saw in the pictures, all died over there, poisoned, killed. And some of these that are inside my cur sitting over there, some of them are here because it took 3 months after I took them to the vet to get their injuries to heal, and from what they did to them over there. And then they say there's no evidence. There's no evidence of any animal cruelty. No, just the evidence that I have. Hi, look. Hi, Doodad. You know, just this 60 cats that are no longer on the face of the earth and can't be found. Or I found dead bodies. There's Flitty, and she's sleeping in the chair. And anyway, we're creating a video record of what's happening here. We're not going to just sit here and let them attack us with these false criminal charges that they keep saying, this cyber stalking. I mean, you all know that it's not against the law to petition your government. It's not against the law to turn in criminals. It's not against the law to contact the governor's office when the sheriff's department is being biased or they're not doing their job. You know, everything we've done has been completely legal, and they're trying to do illegal things to us and obstruct justice by stopping us from telling you what's happening. And you can see there's 3 cats in there. I don't have zoom, and 1 on top. You know, they're laying in the shade. You know, they're safe here. They've never been out during the day out there. I had to go out during the night. But look at them enjoying their life here in the middle of the day. They're not running from anybody anymore because the abuse is wearing off. And they live in a pretty nice place. You know, this was a designer house. They've got plenty of concrete to lay on. They've got Animal Planet beds. And we're taking as good as care of them as we can. This is a lot better than they would get out there. Out there, they would get nothing. They would get absolutely no food, no water, no medicine. And when they were sick or injured, nobody would be even looking for them. They just out there suffering and dying. And we stopped all of that, and we've reported the animal cruelty. So now it's time for Governor Cooper or Senator Tillis or the U.S. Department of Justice or somebody to get their asses down here and investigate how come my house got bombed. This compound got bombed last July 3rd. And you can see it's a busy road out there. You know, what were they out there with commercial grade dynamite size explosives trying to, you know, just playing with fireworks out on the road and one accidentally came over here in this isolated compound? No, I don't think so. I think that it was done on purpose and that they're trying to cover that up now. So now you have a little bit more knowledge about what's going on, and I hope you will stop using the word feral cat, and you'll stop the tea and starve. You know, somebody can go out there. If we can go out there and feed them, you can go out there and feed them too. You know, get out from in front of the TV. Do something, come here. Do something positive to help these cats, and quit listening to these animal advocate groups who steal our money and don't do anything. So I'm putting it on all of them that I mentioned to come down here and reimburse us for the money that we've spent and fork over some money so that we can do this compound, you know, permanently for all the cats somewhere that they'll be safe, and get them away from these hateful people. Thank you. I'm Dan Felix.